What is going on, Hive Warriors? Once again, as we continue to see the studies that are coming out this year, we are further and further pushed closer towards what's probably the most likely scenario that's going on with your body during intermittent fasting. This year we'll have the most studies per year since they started researching as it continues to grow. Intermittent fasting studies continue to grow, but this one is interesting because the narrative is you have to be fed before going into an exercise. If you don't eat before going into an exercise, you won't have enough energy. You're not gonna be able to power through your workout. You're not gonna be able to do this or do that. And granted, I understand that if you are consistently eating, in terms of muscle growth specifically, you are being as optimal as possible, right? Because of protein synthesis, because of meal frequency, really. So I get that. But that's not to say that you can't grow muscle, that you can't grow muscle efficiently, and that you can't perform efficiently in the gym, because you can, even when you're doing intermittent fasting. Now, there was a pilot study, and we're going to take a look at it right now. Now, here you can see that it is the effects of 24-hour fasting on exercise performance and metabolic parameters in pilot studies of female CrossFit athletes. Now, they used 11 female athletes. Right now, this is not, the be all end all, but this is in line with studies that we've seen in the past where performance is not affected. How they perform in terms of how fast they sprint and all these things, their hand grip strength, not affected. And that's what they saw here. The only thing that was different was the blood lactate was higher in the fasting group. Pre, it was lower, and it was higher pre for the eating group, and it was a randomized crossover design. So basically, they use the same people, and that's very powerful because we get to see the effects happen exactly to that person. So if let's say Melissa eats first and then does her exercise, they use Melissa again after a washout period to fast for 24 hours and then do their exercise. So the biology is exactly the same. So we get to see it's more telling and polarizing to see, to this same person, these two methods do something different or don't do something different. Both of those things are important. So that's the only thing. And this is probably to just meet you at your resource needs, which is why you will see the difference in blood lactate, just to meet you at your resource needs. Obviously, there's probably a lot more glucose and glycogen in those who didn't fast than those who fast, but it still doesn't affect performance, which is the most important thing. Now, if we look at what they were doing, they had them, see here, the exercise test. They had them do 5 sets of 10 burpees, burpee over bar, pendulum rowing, 10 pendulum rowing, deep squats, 4 20-meter sprints, and these were exercise tests, and they recorded times and everything. None of that stuff changed. Standing long jump, hand grip strength. They checked their hydration levels, they checked their heart levels, they checked their blood lactate, their blood glucose, the rate of perceived exertion, the hunger feelings, also no changes in how they felt in terms of hunger. And let's go to the conclusion here, because I'm gonna link the study down below if you want to take a look at the full study, but this is basically the TLDR, because I know you guys don't want me to break down the whole thing, but I'm gonna give you the gist of this. In conclusion, these female specific, so it's only women. That's another thing. Oh, women can't fast. Women shouldn't do intermittent fasting. They're going to suffer from this and that and be weaker and be this and that. And it's only for men. That's not true, guys. That's not true. There's no study. They're harping on the one study that looked at postmenopausal women, premenopausal women, women going through menopause. They looked at that one study to make that determination across the board and disregard all different studies that have come out previous to that study. That's not how it works. One study does not determine what the biology is for the world. That's not how it is. It's multiple studies and the breadth of data that we have, the multitude of studies. That's why meta-analysis is more powerful than just a single study. That's why a meta-analysis with a randomized crossover controlled design or whatever, and each individual study inside the meta-analysis is stronger than just a meta-analysis of cohort studies. There's levels to what is more potent than the next thing. Don't let somebody basically gaslight you to believe that this is the truth because they found a study. You could find a study to confirm a bias for anything and try to muddy the waters. If you don't like something, you're going to find studies to try to discredit it. That's why here we talk about the studies that are positive for intermittent fasting and even the studies that are negative, because we are looking at the full breadth. As long as it's a powerful study, we're not looking at rats. We're not looking at, just like these little, studies that don't use a randomized controlled trial and stuff like that. We're looking at powerful studies, rigorous studies. All right. Anyways, in conclusion, these females specific findings, and sorry guys, I've lost my voice. Was screaming yesterday watching sports, and yeah, it's over. With previous research on athletes and support the concept that short-term fasting does not impair exercise performance or negatively impact physiological parameters in female CrossFit athletes. Further research with larger sample size and diverse athlete population is needed to further validate and extend these findings. Obviously, this is not a be-all, end-all, but it is in line with what we've seen in the past. Of course, we need a bigger sample size than just 11 females. That's not enough, but it's still telling, right? What happened to them still shows that there's nothing is impeding them from performing at their highest level when they're exercising. And of course, we need men to be mixed into this as well. But overall, all in all, this is basically continuing to show you that the narrative that they're trying to put out there, oh, you got to eat before you exercise or you're going to perform poorly. Like when your fitness trainer is like, don't you show up without eating a meal or all, because that they don't know what they're talking about. They're going based off of the common knowledge of fitness and not off of the studies that we actually have, if they actually research studies. But a lot of fitness trainers and stuff, they don't research studies. They just look at fitness training books that have old information dating back to like before even 2000. So anyways, this is just to further emphasize how important these studies are and continuing education on studies to ensure that you are up to date with what's going on with any kind of diet, not just intermittent fasting. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and of course, as always, we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.